I don't know what you want to get better at, but I know you want to get better at something that's not where you want it to be. I don't know what you need to get better at, but we all need to get better at a bunch of things. This is the discipline guide to getting better at those things, your things that you want, that you need. This is the discipline guide to getting better at anything. One thing I've recognized in 15 years of teaching, educating, training, speaking, advising, consulting with executives, teams, coaches, super high-end producers, frontline, floor, late shift, third shift, machine operators, and everywhere in between. Anyone who's living a life where they're trying to advance, survive, thrive, grow, perform, compete, create. Everyone's trying to, in some way, shape, or form, get better at something. And I think the first piece, the preceding piece to this entire conversation is the recognition that you need to get better. I mean, I think there's a bunch of this that you want to get better, but there's also another part of this that precedes. It's not going to be part of our topic today of, do you recognize that you need to get better and that no matter where you are and how good you are, or how far behind you are, or how stuck you feel, that getting better is always not just an option, but a necessity if you're going to keep living this life, that you need to get better wherever you are. That's the first piece. And so I'm going to assume that because you're here and you're watching this and you're going to keep watching, that you recognize a need to get better or that you want to get better, and that's part of why you're here. If you're struggling with that, even that first piece, I would really encourage you, push pause, bookmark this video, go back and figure out inside yourself whether the desire to get better is even there. Because if it's not, nothing I say here is even gonna help. This is about people who want and know they need to get better and are ready to do the work. People who want the answer to this question and the simple version of it. And they wanna know how to do it with discipline in a way that will get them where they wanna go. A couple of videos I talked with you about the discipline guide for making slow progress. And it hit me recently that slow progress, I wanted that one, I needed that one for all of you because progress is slow. It's just what it is. But as I was thinking about, what else I need to be providing, what else we need to be talking about and putting some tools in place for, how about just getting better? Like what are the standards? What are the disciplines of getting better at things? And I think no matter what it is that we're getting better, there's 4 zones for getting better. It's how I think of this in anything that I'm approaching. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, whether it's personal or professional, whether it's something very behavioral in my mind or my emotions or my behavior patterns, or whether it's technical or tactical or strategic, in my business or my physical performance or whatever it is. I think there's 4 zones that I recognize. The first zone of getting better at anything is you have to do it. It's a zone that, despite the obvious nature of it, people skip. You can't get better at things you're not doing. That has to be the first zone, and it has to be the first step that you take. The first domino that you push over is you have to do it. A lot of people will say they can't wait to get better so they can start doing that thing more. And it's exactly the opposite. It's the other way around. You do first, that's the first zone. And so by nature, by definition, getting better at something starts with doing it when you're not that good. It's the starting point for everyone. And in fact, if you're already really, really good at something, going back and getting better at that thing begins with doing more of it in those areas where you're not that good. So the first zone for getting better is you have to do the thing. If you want to get better at the guitar, you have to pick up the guitar and put it in your hands on a regular basis. If you want to get in better shape, you have to do the things that are required to get in better shape. If you want to become a writer, or you want to become better on screen and on camera, if you want to grow your social media account, if you want to be a better coach, if you want to get a starting position, if you want to get a promotion, if you want to become a leader, you have to do more of the thing that you want to get better at. Do not skip that step or buy anything anyone sells you that you can get better without doing a lot of work. So that's zone 1. Zone 2, assuming you've done zone 1 and you're in it and you're doing it. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how good you are. It doesn't matter in zone 1. What matters is just that you do it. After zone 1 of do it, zone 2 is do it better and faster. Now that does not mean that zone two. Zone two is not do it well and do it as fast as you would like. It's do it better and then do it faster. Than when? Than the previous time, or then last week, then last month, then last year. Whatever it is that you want to get better at. First you do it, then in zone two you do it better and faster. You figure out 1% ways, 2% ways, 5% ways to do it a little bit better and a little bit faster and a little bit more comfortably and a little bit more familiar. You start making those changes, those adjustments, those tweaks, that self-awareness, that recognition of, oh, here's how I can do it a little better. Here's how I can do it a little quicker than I did before. And what that means is whatever the skill you're trying to build, whatever you're trying to get better at. Like let's say you want to get better at managing your emotions during conversations. Right? The first is you actually have to attempt and try and put in effort to gain control of your emotions while you're in conversations. You can't say you want to get better at it and then not actually try when you're in a conversation that triggers emotion that you want to manage and gain more control over. The second zone for that thing you want to get better at, in this case, managing emotions, is each time you get into this scenario, you're trying and looking for ways to do it a little better than you did before and gain management or control over it a little faster than you did before. So if you can manage your emotions well for about 10 seconds into a really hard conversation, the next time, can you manage your emotions for 30 seconds? Not can you manage it perfectly, it's can you go from managing it for 10 seconds before you lose your mind, can you start managing it till 30 seconds? And then can you manage it for 60 seconds? And then maybe you have a situation where you only manage it for 10 and you recognize, oh, okay, I sped into a bad response because I mismanaged my emotions. And then what you work on is you work on doing it and then doing it a little better and a little faster, piece by piece by piece. And that journey, go back and watch the slow progress. Go back and watch the discipline guide to slow progress. That process of doing it and doing it better and faster will have up and down. It'll take a long time because that's how progress works. This is how to actually apply the slow progress with these zones of getting better. Zone 3 is you start doing it reliably well. Stack the zones up. If you do it, and then you work really hard, as long as it takes to do it better and faster, however small those improvements are, however many setbacks you have, you just keep doing it a little better, a little faster. Zone 3 is when you start training, practicing, and recognizing that you can actually do that thing reliably well. How long will it take you to get to that spot? I don't know. How much talent do you have? Where are you starting from? How hard are you working? How many reps are you getting? How many situations in live, real scenarios where it's not practice, it's not preparation, it's actual doing in a real live moment that matters? How many of those are you getting? I don't know. So this is always variable for everyone, me and you. Zone 3 is do it reliably well, which means you need to be testing it in some kind of environment where you're seeing how it actually performs. You're managing your emotions in real conversations with real emotions between you and somebody else in a conversation that matters where the emotion is heightened. Are you starting to do that? You know what? It's not just getting better and faster. I'm actually really reliable at doing this really well to the level that works for me and for the other person. And then you just transfer that to whatever it is that you want to get better at reliably well. So again, look at zones 1 through 3. 1, do it. Do not skip that one. Don't go to zone 2 until you're in zone 1. If you need to be in zone 1 of just doing it and you're shitty for 6 months, then you stay in zone 1 for those 6 months until you are able to move to zone 2 to start doing it a little better and a little faster. I don't care how long it takes you to get better because it doesn't matter how long it takes. What matters is that you get better. So you do it better and faster in zone 2. And I don't know how long that zone's going to take either. Zone 3 is now you start to do it reliably well. Now you start to look at how consistent am I able to do this? How hard does the situation need to get? How intense does it need to get? How much pressure is on me? How much time constraint do I need to be put under for me to not be reliable with this thing that I'm getting better at? That is zone 3. Most people try to take zone 3 and put it in zone 1. They want to get better immediately and be reliable at that skill as the first step. And because they're not reliable in the first zone, they tend to tap out and quit. They don't want slow progress because they don't understand how these zones. So really, this is about combining these 3 zones that we've talked about, plus there's one more, with the slow progress and the nature of how that works. And this is really the combination, the discipline guide to getting better at anything as long as you understand slow progress. So make sure you watch that one. After you do it reliably well, then there's the 4th zone. And the 4th zone is do it better than most. Now you're getting into a zone where you don't just want to get better. This is for those of you who want to do it in a way that creates a unique experience, brings a unique advantage, a unique competitive edge, a unique performance ability, a unique impact. Because most people, when you step back and think about it, most people, good people, they don't practice things long enough and train long enough and work long enough or smart enough or understand these 4 zones to do the skills that they do and the things they want to get better at better than most people. They do it in a way that they feel comfortable sustaining for the rest of their life that doesn't put them under too much pressure. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just fine, as long as you're self-aware. As long as you recognize that's an average approach. As long as you recognize that's okay. That's all right. That's acceptable. And I don't know where in your life there are things that you can say, that's acceptable. That's okay. That's average. I'm all right at that. But those things exist. And as long as you're self-aware about what those are and you're willing to accept that those things in your life are just okay and they're just average, and you know what those consequences are, that's all right. But I also know there are things in your life where average is not acceptable, where just okay is potentially disastrous. And you can't do it as good as everybody else and just be all right and get in the crowd. You want and need to be better than everybody else. And maybe it's competitive for you, maybe it's unique for you or experiential for you. I don't know what it is. But I know in my life there are things where I don't want to be just like everybody else does it. When somebody meets me and interacts with me, and I don't want them to feel like meeting Brian Kight and interacting with him, it was kind of just like any other interaction I have with a human being. It was whatever. I don't personally want that. I want the experience of interacting with me and meeting me and knowing me. I want it to be one that is unique to me. And I want to make people feel a certain way because I care about people and I love people. And I want that. And so I want to be memorable and I want to be fun and I want to be encouraging and I want to be challenging. And so I try to figure out ways to connect with people and interact with people and speak truth and empathize, but also push and challenge and figure out what you're really all about and talk about things in ways that most people don't or won't, and do it with courage, because when it's done, I want people to be like, man, that was different. That was unique. There was something there. And I don't need you to say that in your head. All I want you to do is to feel it. And I won't do that with everybody. I won't get to that spot with everybody. I don't know if I'm getting to that spot with you. I don't know if I'm getting there now or I've been there in any other previous time and anything else you've ever seen from me. But I work on that. Because I want to be better than most. I'm not competing with anybody else on this, but I want to be better than most because I want that unique experience to come across. And so I work really hard to do it better and faster, do it reliably well, and then I work really hard to figure out, how do I do that better than most people? And that's not the only thing in my life. There's a number of things in my life that I work really hard to do it that way. But that's when, and that's where, you start to gain an edge. That's where you start to bring things into your unique world, your unique life, your unique profession, your unique role, to start making a memorable experience and bringing something that not everybody else can or will bring to it. And that puts you in a tremendous position of influence and power that brings responsibility, but it also helps you stand out. It helps people recognize you for you. So if you want to get better at anything, follow 4 simple zones. Do it better and faster, do it reliably well, and then figure out how to do it better than most. Discipline is the shortcut. Do the work.